Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Future Successors Podcast, where the future is now. Hey, I'm Jairus Hunter, joined by Stephen Fowler, the Fowler Law Firm. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
What you been up to, man? Just tell me what you've been up to.
Not much. Working,
Yeah.
playing with family, raising the kids, everything else. Just having fun.
Like always, but you're here at the Future Successors Podcast. You see success in the name.
Yeah.
How do you define success?
Man, to me, success, it goes beyond just the personal accolades. I mean, it's great to achieve things on your own, but to me, success really boils down to what you can do to help others, right? What you can do in your community, and how you can give back. And it's not always a financial thing, but how can you help people that you were in their shoes years ago? So like high school students, how can you tell them how they can get to a point of being an attorney or how to go to law school and things of that nature? So to me, success is really defined by how you help others and bring them along the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going from Lithonia High School to the University of Miami, tell me how that culture change or a culture shock you had going from the high school to the college and what that was, what it was like for you.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, I love my college experience. High school, growing up in Atlanta, growing up in Lithonia, it was predominantly black, of course. And so then going to college at the University of Miami, you have a very diverse environment. You've got everything you can think of, right? And so it was a great experience because I was able to meet people from all across the world, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, and really kind of learn how they, go about their lives. And so that helped me as I got into my career, dealing with different clients with different backgrounds and things of that nature too. So University of Miami was a great experience. Obviously, after that, I went to law school at the University of Georgia, which was another different experience because University of Miami is very, very diverse. University of Georgia is diverse, but not as diverse as University of Miami, right? And so there at UGA, I was able to meet a lot of individuals in the law school who are now my colleagues. And so a lot of times I'm seeing them either up against them, and we'll talk about practice law in a minute, but either up against them representing clients or working along with them on certain cases.
For an upcoming college student like me, so I'm going to Morehouse in August.
Mm-hmm.
What advice, thank you. What advice would you give a senior in high school going to college? And what would you tell them what to look out for, just different things like that?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I would tell anybody in your shoes is to have fun when you get to college.
Yes.
Enjoy it. It is, I mean, people say this all the time, and I sound old when I say this, but it is really the best time of your life. You learn about yourself. You learn how to manage on your own because nobody's going to be there to tell you, look, you've got to go to class, you've got to study, you've got to do your homework, you got to do this and that. You learn on your own how to really become an adult, right? And so have fun is the first thing, but then also don't lose track of why you're there, all right? You always hear this, like, keep the main thing. Obviously, you're there to keep school first. You've got to do your best and achieve good results for school, but, you need to enjoy that experience too. So experience like the parties, whatever you want to do with all that, but stay focused. Treat it similar to a job. I would say like not necessarily a 9 to 5, but put in your mind that, okay, I've got to get this done and then I can go party, go celebrate. So have fun, meet people, network, just really kind of decide what you want or try to figure out what you want to do with your career too, right? When I went to college, I was pre-med. I thought I wanted to be a doctor and that changed quickly, but it changed because I realized that I did not really like science like that. And so I was determined to figure out the next step for grad school. So I decided to go to law school, which was the best decision for me. So the other thing too is to just take as many different courses that you can because you want to find out what the best possible career is for you. And when I was in college, I was able to do that. Took so many different random courses. I majored in business, majored in finance, but I was able to see what I liked and what I didn't like. And the worst thing you can do is like graduate from college, graduate from law school or grad school and not like your career or not be able to at least put up with it.
Yes.
So I would say in college, try to figure out what you think you want to do once you graduate.
Your dad was actually a doctor, correct?
Yeah.
So how was it growing up with 2 parents in the household and just,
Man, it was a blessing, it's something that I don't take for granted. My parents were married for so many years now. Having them both there was important in the development of myself and also my 2 sisters. Having a father there's nothing like it. I don't know life without my father, fortunately, but he was there to tell me right from wrong, tell me what to do, what not to do, and really have that father to son, man to boy conversation, and raise me. And my mother too. I mean, she knows I'm somewhat of a mama's boy, and so having her there and just seeing how they interact, in marriage, everything's not perfect, and so I was able to see like how they deal with situations where they don't agree all the time, or how they deal with certain things where a kid may do one thing that's not the right thing, So that helped me really to, with my life, and obviously now being married and raising 2 children.
Yeah, so your family, Miss Tabitha, Mackenzie, and Carter.
Yeah.
Just being a dad, how do you find time? I know you have your own law firm and things like that. How do you find time just to create that space between you being a dad and you being a business owner?
It's tough because aside from the family, I've got the law firm, got staff, employees that I'm also having to deal with things day to day with, and then clients as well too.
Yes.
So it is a struggle. I will tell you that, and I'd be lying if I tell you, it's just easy, no issues there. But the most important thing for me was to make sure that I'm always in my children's lives, right? And so I make it a fact to like take my son to daycare for the most part when I can, and be there for my daughter, interact with them, and take trips and stuff like that, because I think that's important. Job, work, I love what I do, love representing clients, but at the end of the day, to me, family is very important. And so I want to be there for my kids, and my wife and my family too. But my son is funny now, he's 2, almost 3, and he's like, he knows my daddy's got to go to work, and daddy's got to work in the office at home. So he kind of understands, but it's important for them to understand that too. Like, yes, daddy's got to work, mom's got to work, so that we can, live a certain way and be able to do things in life. So it's a struggle, but it is a constant balancing act that I work on with. Fortunately, I have good staff that help me to be able to do things with my family, but that's important to me. Family life is very important.
Now, in the business world, it's not more so of what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
What relationship helped you along the way to put you in the position that you are now?
Yeah, so networking is so important. I mean, it is almost more important, and you hit the nail on the head, than almost being qualified sometimes, right? Because a lot of times if you know the right person and you can somewhat work your way into different rooms, it will help you get to where you need to be. Now, obviously, you've got to be qualified to an extent, but for me, relationship-wise, it's not, I mean, I have a lot of mentors in my area, in my field, that I could run down the list of, but to me, like, it's just the networking with people in general that has enabled me to establish certain relationships. So again, I don't want to keep saying this, but networking is so important with people, even in my industry or even outside of my industry, just to get to where you want to be.
So I recently seen on your LinkedIn, you were a Kappa.
Yeah.
So talk about how that network of the brotherhood that y'all have impacted your business and everything.
Yeah, and I've made a lot of great decisions in my life, but that's another one. Being at Pleasant Kappa and becoming a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, nothing like it. The brotherhood is amazing. No matter where I go, I can find a brother if I need to, find out about a place or ask for advice on something. But when I was in college, I was able to talk to older brothers to find out, how they became attorneys, how they, went to law school or med school or whatever it is, to get advice on how to just navigate through life, not just school stuff, but personal stuff, issues that you may see. Because no matter what somebody's going through, someone's been there before, and so it's always important to get guidance from people that have been there and people that are older than you. Of course, I love my fraternity, and if I've got friends that pledge other fraternities, and my sisters are Deltas and things like that. So I'm biased to the Newts, biased to Kappas, of course, but fraternities in general, I know are great to a lot of people, especially for networking.
Got you. Now, for a young teen to say, hey, Mr. Fowler, I don't know how to create those new relationships. How do I foster and develop those new relationships?
It comes with experience. Some people, everybody has a different personality. I wasn't always the guy that's so outspoken to go up to somebody and say, hey, just how are you doing? Shake their hand. But at some point, if you want to succeed in life, I believe you got to come out that shell and start to network and just be comfortable walking up to someone and saying, hey, my name is such and such, how are you doing? And just starting a conversation with them. I'll give you one example. Like for me, since I went to UGA for law school, Football's big there, obviously, in Georgia.
Yes.
Go Dogs and go Canes, too, because that's my first team. But a lot of times that's a conversation starter when I see another attorney that went to Georgia years before me or whatever it may be. We'll sit down, start talking about Georgia football, and then we can start to talk about cases and possibly resolve certain things. So, I would say like networking is key, but also being able to do that. It's not always easy, especially if people don't look like you. If you are, a lot of times, like if you're African American, you may have certain fears of going up to somebody that doesn't look like you, but you've got to get away from that, I think, and just be able to work your way into different rooms, be comfortable talking to somebody that doesn't look like you as well as somebody that looks like you, and just being able to navigate.
Yes. The beginning of the Fowler firm, just talk about the struggle or anything that really impacted you to start the Fowler firm, and how you started it and who.
Yeah, so when I graduated from law school, and as you probably know, I did the JD MBA program, which is law and business at University of Georgia, which is a 4-year program. And I graduated, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go the law route or the business route. And when I came out, the economy was terrible and whatnot. So I applied to literally probably 200 plus firms and got rejected by almost all of them, right? And I tell people all the time, never give up, because there is a reason. Like everything has a purpose, everything has a reason in your life. God does that for certain reasons. And so with me, like it was almost a blessing. I took a job at a firm and worked there for a few years, and then I was like, okay, this is not terrible, but it's not where my end goal is, right? And so I wanted to figure out a way to merge both degrees, right? The business degree and the law degree. And for me, the best way to do that was to be an entrepreneur, to start my own law firm. Now, I was fortunate to have mentors, of course, in the field that kind of guided me along the way within the realms of personal injury law. So that, again, I met them through networking. And they were there to tell me, like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, but wanted to see me succeed. And so from there, I started with probably about 3 or 4 clients, and literally just grew from word of mouth. And that's the way that the firm has grown to where it is today, just by literally clients recommending us to their friends, their family, their aunts, their uncles, their cousin, whatever. And us doing a great job for them, and then continuing to refer people. Because if you don't do a great job and they refer you, they're never going to do it again, right? And so I wanted to make sure that if I got a referral from someone, to a family member, a loved one, whatever it is, that we did the best we could for them, and that we're honest. There are sometimes cases where we can't get what you want, and if that's the situation, then we recommend that you probably go somewhere else, go to an attorney that you think can do that. But for me, like when I first started the firm, again, it was just me. So I was doing literally everything, answering the phone, setting up the cases, going out networking, all that. And it was easier because I didn't have, family to raise and all that, the kids to raise. But I like it that way, because it's almost similar to like when you have to own a franchise, like they say. You have to start with everything. You have to learn how to like work the cashier, all that stuff. And so for me, I knew exactly when I started to hire staff, I knew exactly how I wanted each position to be. So I knew how I wanted everything from answering the phones. I knew what I wanted them to say. I knew how they wanted to treat the clients. And then when it came to like communicating with insurance companies and stuff like that, I knew the letters and how I wanted those things to go. And so I literally have had every position within the firm. So it's easy for me to talk to the staff about, hey, this is how you should do X, Y, and Z. Make sense?
Yes. So championships. So you created the Fowler Law Firm. I feel like that's very big. That was probably a goal that you've had and everything. Congratulate you on that and everything. But what is a championship for you? What is the end goal? Whether that's, hey, you and your family want to move somewhere nice. What is the end goal for Stephen and his family?
Yeah. So I think like a career end goal. I mean, I like practicing law so much that I, knock on wood, would do it for the rest of my life. I like representing people. I like helping people. That's what we do at my firm. Unfortunately, they're injured or, God forbid, their families lost a loved one, but we're able to help them get to their end result. So when it comes to a championship for the law firm, honestly, it would just be continuing to get good results for people. When it comes to the family, my championship would really be to see my kids succeed and do well in life. That's the main goal. Now, do I want them to be attorneys? Yes, because I'm biased, but I want them to figure out what's good for them too. If they want to go the law route, I'll be more than happy, but I won't force it upon them. That's kind of how my dad did us. He talked to us about practicing medicine and being doctors, but he didn't force it upon us. And ironically, none of us went that route. My sisters are in media, and and one's in marketing, and I'm an attorney. So I want them to be in the law route, but I'm not going to force that upon them. So again, championship for them, for me, is to see my kids do well and succeed in life.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler, for joining the Future Successors Podcast, where the future is now. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks.